The crypto space is in a really crazy position right now, with Bitcoin and many other cryptocurrencies going for a very interesting pump and dump over the past 36 hours. Right now, most cryptos are going down ever so slightly at minus 4% or so. Like I said, there was a $200 million liquidation in an hour as Bitcoin plummeted to $27,000, which, as you can see, was pretty damn wild. Right now, crypto liquidations are also still pretty high with $300 million over the last 24 hours. And again, it's keeping us all busy with what exactly happened right there. Well, there's something happening in the major markets, right? In the real traditional financial space that everybody is speculating on right now. I'm going to tell you guys in just a second, but if you've not done it yet, make sure you press that like button. And I am absolutely destroyed. We're going on no sleep, but don't worry about it because crypto does not stop. So first of all, a lot of the speculation was surrounding this. Bitcoin price retargeting $29,000 after Mt. Gox panic liquidates $320 million. Carnage, thanks to a disproved scare over Mt. Gox Bitcoins, destroys large amounts of BTC open interest and trading positions in hours. I mean, yeah. For example, Will Chart here, this guy, whom I guess is just fudding around, just spreading rumors and garbage, I presume. He said, well, wallets belonging to Mt. Gox and the US government are making transactions, Bitcoin dumping, scaring everybody yesterday. He asked, are you buying the dip? Hey, what's going on? But IT Tech came in to explain, does your news have confirmation on the blockchain, or is it a trust me bro type of moment? As all the guys have been saying, it is actually not true. It's now been disproven multiple different times. And apparently, again, the amount of Bitcoin that they hold has not changed from the address. And apparently, our guy has a alert set up that'll basically notify him the moment that a major move does happen in terms of funds. But I do have, this is actually the wrong one. I do have something kind of interesting to talk about with you guys though. And that is the fact that from a certain perspective, it's all about cost basis. I'll put a little camera of me in the bottom left. It's all about cost basis. And if you actually check Bitcoin's exchange average withdrawal price, is the price that people basically take their Bitcoin out of exchanges at on average by year. It's actually quite interesting because the all-time exchange realized price is basically the average price that people are hodling their Bitcoin at, taking it out of exchanges. It's something important to watch. Well, it's kind of like going up all the time. You can see this little purple line as it continues on. It's always on the up and up. And if you think about it, every single time it's at that point or lower, that's an extremely beautiful and very cheap moment to buy yourself more Bitcoin or more crypto. You can also, calculate this for other pairs. But anyway, it basically just shows when people are in profit and again, at what point if they withdraw at that point, would they be in profit, etc. And that might remind you again of the fact that a lot of people are still willing to sell their crypto at these cheaper prices because they just bought it so ridiculously cheap. And you have to understand as well that when there's rumors about it, well, you can see the markets just move really freaking fast because these guys bought so cheap, so they don't care to dump it on us. So it could very well be true. Anyway, like I established earlier, we've got a couple more days till the FOMC meeting, and that's actually where the title of this whole video comes into play. These are the implications for Bitcoin when the US debt ceiling is raised. Posted 50 minutes ago. What are we talking about right here? Well, we've covered it in the past. I don't think we've covered it anywhere recently. The House passes debt limit bill courting a showdown. Again, in simple words, the House Republicans approved a bill aimed at capping government spending and rolling back parts of President Biden's agenda in return for a 1-year increase of the country's debt limit. How much exactly? Well, the Republican-led U.S. House Representatives have passed the bill that pairs $4.8 trillion of spending cuts with an increase in the federal government's $31.4 trillion debt ceiling. It has no chance of passing the Democratic-led Senate, but is meant to pressure Democratic President Joe Biden into budget talks. The legislation would suspend the U.S. borrowing limit, currently $31.4 trillion, through March 31st of next year, or until it increases by another $1.5 trillion, whichever comes first. And at that point, Congress would have to address the issue again as the 2024 presidential campaign heats up. And a lot of the guys are basically finding all of these changes extremely bullish for cryptocurrencies. Well, this guy is saying raising the debt ceiling will mean that the US Treasury will replenish its TGA reserves. This will be rather detrimental to Bitcoin and crypto as the Fed's quantitative tightening will no longer be mitigated now. Ted concludes, if quantitative tightening draws to a close before TGA reserves are built back up, sideways/up, if quantitative tightening continues and debt ceiling is raised down/sideways. Ultimately, QT takes a stronger grip on liquidity when the debt ceiling is raised, and that points south, unless the Fed winds up QT. Personally, again, I kind of disagree with their ideas. This guy's saying in the long run, the monetary policy will return to quantitative easing as the credit crunch leads to an economic crisis. Bitcoin and gold will benefit from this, with both assets already showing increased correlation in the recent weeks. Renowned trader, well, let's take that with a grain of salt, Peter Schiff said, any deal to raise the debt ceiling isn't good news. Well, again, for macroeconomic parts, no, not at all, but nobody's saying that. I don't know why anybody would. It means the U.S. will continue not paying its bills, so the debt will continue to grow, and the Fed will continue to create inflation to pay for it. It's bad news for the U.S. economy, dollar and bonds, and good news for gold and Bitcoin. So again, I'm not sure if here with the down and sideways they talked about stocks or what exactly they were talking about. For crypto, I personally think it is extremely bullish and extremely nice. I mean, right now it's a wild west in America, though, if you think about it. I'll talk about this more in another video coming out later today, but massive capital flight from U.S. banks is extremely concerning, hurts Main Street by Senator Ted Cruz. I believe he's also the guy who today, over on, at least in a video of sorts, was saying he's still very bullish on Bitcoin. I have it open somewhere. Yeah, here we go. U.S. Senator Ted Cruz says he's incredibly bullish on Bitcoin and has bought the dip. I personally don't care for senators actually buying because, well, I always think about it in a way of they probably got some sort of incentive to say it like that. I'm not sure, right? But I always think about it that way because, if you think about it, it's pretty smart for your political campaign to really be on the completely opposite spectrum than a lot of others. Because that way, again, you're not going to get all the votes, but at least there's a big amount of people who really don't like any other one, and you're very different, so they go for you, or you're like advocating freedom, etc. So again, guys, remember right now the phase which we're in for like the major banks, for like the major economy is like probably like this phase of complacency where things are still yet to crash because it's just the system is so messed up. That's the best way I can put it. Little side note, and this is actually pretty cool. I hope you guys all remember LimeWire. If you don't, it used to be a really big thing back in the day if you wanted to download music onto your computer. And quite recently, I've been talking more and more with these guys over at LimeWire because, well, they're making a new crypto revamp, and it's pretty crazy. So the idea is to be like a Patreon, YouTube membership, or any like membership group where, let's say we've got a creator and we've got fans or his or her, whatever, subscribers that pay for it. They don't only get the content, but they actually own NFTs of the content. So they don't just get the content, but they actually own it. It's a really interesting model. And I believe, and that's what I believe they also say, they're the first of their kind. And I mean, if you do a little bit of a dive, you notice, well, these guys got themselves a pretty good name for everything they've done in the past. And I guess they're still going on with that. And right now they're getting into crypto. So I think this goodwill might have a very nice effect. Anyway, side note, on top of the side note, you can see here over at the top, they're actually going for a token. Understand this, in no way, shape, or form am I telling you you should buy it. I'm just saying, pretty cool platform, pretty unique product because you get to own the NFTs of people that you would pay for the content for example. So it's just like a one-up, a little positive. And again, if we just look at the amount of people that pay for OnlyFans, for example, or actually pay for Patreon, etc., it's a very lucrative piece, right? It's a very, very lucrative industry. But yeah, if you press the little join waitlist button or go to the specific little LimeWire website, you can also find here LimeWire token, public token sale, and they are already pretty sold out here. Private sale for 200 million LimeWire is over. Community sale for 2.5 million is over. And now they've got the public sale for 97.5 million LimeWire. It's not happening yet, but if this is something you're interested in, I guess, like, go check it out, join the waitlist, enter your KYC already. You can always decide to buy it or not buy it later on, but at least you might want to have the opportunity because it's pretty hyped up. I'm just telling you. I'm not going to lie as well. I like the project. I'm going to be leaving the link down below because when I checked it out and I was pretty surprised by this. Again, please do your own due diligence, but I'm getting into it, which is why I'm telling you guys because my channel is about that type of stuff. If a lot of our community buys, you get freaking 15,000. Am I seeing that right? $15,000? So you bet your ass I'm putting a link down below for you guys to check it out as well. Because again, it's just something I'm going to be buying a little bit of. Again, not putting all my pockets into this type of stuff, but you got to try, in my opinion, right? Got to try different things that are launching that you've got the opportunity to join. And right now might not be the best of the best markets. I mean, obviously we're not in the greenest of greenest times, but still, I personally think the way I see it, I'd rather invest $100, let's say, trying something out to make it 1,000 than not trying anything at all. Because those smaller amounts of money you'll make by working or whatever. But really, realistically speaking, the millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars, it's gonna be pretty hard to build that up just working a normal job. And the investments, the riskier they are, the more of a chance they have to actually get you to those levels if that's something that you're interested in. Anyway, you don't got to, I'm just like sharing it. So again, I'll leave a link for that down below because they got some of the big guys in, whatever. Just check it out. That's all I'm saying. As I said, I'm feeling a little bit sick. Otherwise, I would be screaming here because I am actually really excited and I don't really have that too often. Moving on, something I'm also quite passionate about myself. And I've been laughing at this for like a good, 10 minutes here. Veteran crypto reporter Brady Dale discusses a new FTX book. Can you guys imagine? Imagine a FTX book. Somebody's going for that. And honestly, I wonder what it's going to be like, a little documentary written down in a book. Because the guy and the way he did it, it sounds like fiction, right? It's almost like the opposite of The Big Short, where again, The Big Short as a film, obviously it's not completely accurate, but the idea and how things were going right there almost seems like fiction. This whole situation with FTX as well. Bernie Madoff in a similar sense. All those stories, they're so ridiculously crazy, but 99% of the people miss all the details and understand or don't understand like most of what happened for it to get this far. Because we're talking billions of dollars, right? Billions. But then if it's in a book form, you get the whole story written out and you get some more, back-end knowledge because these guys probably do their digging quite well. I don't know, it's just something I'm also quite interested in. I thought it was pretty damn cool. In a similar sense, the former FTX US president, Brett Harrison, speaks on the FTX's collapse, says more can be done to prevent the next disaster of sorts to happen. And again, that's something we're going to be talking about a little bit later today with regards to crypto regulation and how I don't exactly know what I was going to say there, but there's just so many things that they can learn from everything that happened with the whole FTX debacle. And things are just going to change significantly, but it all starts with the climate opening up to it. I mean, if the rules are not clear, then how do you expect people to abide by them? And that's the same thing, the goddamn same thing. For these guys being found liable, well, if they couldn't have... Fraud aside, right? Because let's not say that. This guy, right? Frauded everybody, right? It's just like proven already. Allegedly, I actually think it's not proven officially, but I mean, you can see through the grapevine. You can see through it a little bit. Point being, the same thing kind of for Ripple goes as well, and for all these other companies. They're just going to leave, go to other jurisdictions, and if they were doing something illegal or some strange, they're probably going to continue to do it elsewhere anyway. But at least at that point, right, if they have to move over to another country and then they still defraud U.S. investors of some sort, they can really go after them hard. Right now, it's like, well, we don't really know. I mean, you're in the U.S., but you couldn't have really known, even though it's clear, even though it's not. But at that point, you can really catch on, and they probably won't leave because they don't have to, right? Anyway, yeah. I think that's it for right now. I got another cool video coming out later today, so make sure you check that one out too. Some cool stuff is going on in the crypto space. We're going to talk a little bit more about Ripple XRP, exactly what's going on with the lawsuit and some other cool stuff. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you stick around. I'm already seeing it because I'm already preparing the video here because it's just such a different subject that I wanted to split the videos up. But look out for that in a couple of hours, and I'll see you guys again in another one, hopefully later today. So make sure you press that notification bell on.